It is now 6:30-ish on Wednesday, May 7th, and we're continuing our town meeting from the Monday suspension. The only difference on the stage tonight is Mr. Usko is absent today, and we have Brian Riley appearing as town council. When we have a vote tonight, if you would please hold up your card and do the voice vote at the same time, it's going to help me try to determine whether or not we have a majority or not. If we have to do a count, we'll obviously do a count after that. And please also make sure we keep the exits clear in the event people want to or need to vacate the building at any time. I would remind you also, this is being recorded. Please make sure that you identify yourself by name and street if you're going to address the assembly. And please, if you're able, stand so we know who is speaking, and it helps project your voice as well. We do have microphones available that will assist us tonight. Article 20, Mr. Droshine.
I move that the town vote to approve payment of an outstanding bill in the amount of $202 for Training Force USA for professional development of a police officer from prior fiscal year.
Second.
Article 20 is moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, this requires a 4/5 vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed by saying no. Thank you, that passes. Article 21.
I move the town approve the amendments to the town zoning bylaws. Article 9, accessory structures and uses, section 350-39.1, as printed in the warrant. I need a second.
Second. Article 21 is moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay.
Yanko was supposed to be here tonight, but he couldn't be here. He was here last night to do this, but I'm going to do it. We had to make revisions to the ADU bylaw we passed a few years ago.
Zach, would you identify yourself, please?
Okay, I'm sorry. My name is Zach McCain at 28 East Street in Dalton. I'm a member of the planning board.
Thank you.
You'd think I'd know to do that by now. As I was saying, the ADU bylaw was passed a few years ago, which is accessory dwelling unit, which is a small unit you could build next to your house or an addition you could add to your house. And the state made changes to their law that we had to make our bylaw consistent with their bylaw. So that's what this is about. If you have any further questions about it, I can try to answer them. The main things it did was take away the requirement that you had to have a special permit for it. And the other they also took away the requirement of a extra parking space if you're in a close to a bus stop. That's the two main things we had to do. So if anybody's got any questions about it, I'd be glad to answer them.
And this was to make it compliant with state law?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So we kept all the other restrictions we had as far as setbacks, sizes, and other things that we had in the original bylaw.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, this requires a 2/3 vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed by saying no. Thank you. That article passes. Article 22.
I move that the town transfer the following amount from free cash for the purpose of funding the purchase and equipping of departmental equipment in accordance with the fiscal year 2026 capital program, including any incidental or related costs. A, $90,000 for a cruiser for the police department.
Second.
This article is being bifurcated. We're doing A for the police cruiser, we're doing B for the truck for the Public Works Department, so we're discussing the police cruiser now. Is there any discussion? Yes.
Hi, Carolyn Valley, Raymond Drive. Being new to Dalton, I don't know how many police officers are actually in a cruiser at any given time, and I also don't know how many cruisers we actually own now. Could somebody answer that question, please?
Chief?
Good evening. We currently have 13 police officers. We have 3 patrol cruisers. I can give the year and mileage if you'd like them. I have all that. And we have 1 cruiser that is for our K-9 officer. So 4 current active patrol cruisers. We have 1 spare cruiser for when any of those cruisers go into the shop. We have 1 cruiser designated for training, court, travel that is not equipped for patrol, no camera, radar, or computer. And then we have 2 detail cars that the officers use for road details. Those are both being traded in with the purchase of this car. And we have 1 unmarked admin. We are still short 1 cruiser to transport our comfort dog, but we're working on it. And how this works is patrol cars last about 4 years in active patrol, and then they move to the spare cruiser role, and then they move to the training role, and then they move to the detail role. So there's a system in place. I can tell you years and mileage if you would like them. I'm happy to do that. So if you'd like that, I can do that.
Why don't you?
Okay. Our brand new patrol car is cruiser number 661. That's our brand new car. We ordered it last July. It just went on the road 3 weeks ago. It has 1,497 miles on it. Cruiser number 725 is a 2023 Ford. It has 28,450 miles. 334 is a 2022 Ford Explorer, and that has 51,283 miles. 273 is our designated K-9 cruiser. That's a 2019, has 71,015 miles. Our spare patrol cruiser, again, if one of our cars go down or gets in an accident, needs repair, that's cruiser number 150. That's a 2021 Ford Explorer. It has 62,500 miles on it. Our training cruiser is 279, so if we have someone going to the academy or needs to go to in-service or court, they utilize that car. That's also a 2021, and it has just over 65,000 miles on it. Our 2 detail cars, cruiser number 804 is a 2017, has 123,896 miles. Cruiser number 796 is also a 2017, has 107,911 miles. We have 1 admin cruiser. That's a 2023, and that has 19,688 miles.
Thank you. Anyone else?
This person's been waiting.
Okay.
I think I lost count. How many is that? 7 cruisers in total? What? Oh, I'm sorry. Andy Zaborski from North Mountain Road.
Thank you.
And I lost count. I thought you said that they had 5 cruisers? Can you update that? How many in total? 9.
9.
How many officers are on any given shift at any time?
3. Again, we have 3 cruisers that are designated for patrol. Some days we have 3 officers on at a time, so all 3 cruisers are designated. Each cruiser is designated a line. So a day shift, an evening shift, and a midnight shift officer is assigned to specific cruisers. So when they have their days off, we can send it for an oil change or any repairs that it may need or maintenance it may need. So those are our 4 patrol cars. One of those is designated only for the police canine. The sergeant takes that home with him. The spare cruiser is fully equipped if one of those cars go down. Those are only patrol cars. The other cars are what we need for training and in service and police details. And those police detail cars are leaving with this new cruiser, if that should pass.
Thank you.
Seems to me that you've got sufficient vehicles. I don't see the need, from my vantage point, for spending another $90,000 for a cruiser, so, I don't know.
Thank you. Anyone else? Well, I did point to you, but let's go to the back because she was first. My bad.
Monique Ollinger, Ruby Terrace. I'd like to put forth a motion to have this voted as secret ballot.
Second.
Really? And does that need to be in writing? All right, before we go any further, there's a motion on the floor that was seconded from up on the stage to have this decided by secret ballot. All those in favor of doing a secret ballot, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. All right, we're going to have to count that, sorry. Madam Clerk? Is it just the two of you? Okay, good. Okay, so all those in favor of the secret ballot, hold up your cards. In favor of the secret ballot?
But this is majority, right?
Yes, majority. Thank you.
She just went to get the numbers.
Okay. Okay, all those opposed to the secret ballot, raise your cards. Thank you. Pardon, yes, the majority is yes? Okay. It doesn't matter. I mean, let me just look at it. Okay. Boy, sorry about that. Good thing your head wasn't down there. Good thing mine wasn't. Okay, so that will be decided by secret ballot. Any further discussion on the article? Henry Rose. It's already been decided it will be secret ballot.
My vote is not against the police. A lot of people are afraid to look like they're against the police, hence the reason to ask for a secret ballot, and I just need to say that. And I said I had a car with 180,000 miles on it. I'm sorry, I don't see the need. And I'd also like to ask, when we get rid of an old cruiser, do we get money back?
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, James Caffrey, 60 Mountain View Terrace. I was kind of surprised to see that the mileage on the cruisers was so low. And I'm just wondering if you feel that you don't have a reliable vehicle after 60 or 70,000 miles. And if that's the case, maybe there's an alternative to Ford. I just feel like we're just buying these cruisers, and for $90,000, 60,000 miles, and I bet you most people in this room, or more than half, are driving vehicles quite comfortably and reliably with vehicles that are over 60,000 miles. I know it's a little different with a cruiser, but I think we got to think about what we're doing here.
Thank you. Down here.
Hi, Carcel, Raymond Drive. Is there a grant for any of that cruiser? It sounds to me like it's a contentious thing and that people are, no funny money on that one? Okay, thank you. I'm sorry if I missed something.
Thank you. In the back.
Dan Filio, 36 Chivers Drive, 24 years in the police department, 12 as chief. What people have to understand is this is not a car going from your house to the supermarket or to work. It's traveling around town, sometimes at speeds a little bit higher than they should be, responding to emergencies, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So 65,000 miles may not sound a lot to everybody, but the amount of money I imagine they spend to upkeep these vehicles and the amount of wear and tear that's on those vehicles, because it has to be used 24/7, I'm surprised at 65 they have any that's at 65. So I really think that the need for the cruisers, we should listen to the chief. She's going to know what she needs, and she's going to bring it forward, and I would suggest that we support her. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Up back here. El Nado. He's right there.
El Nado, Elaine Avenue. What this gentleman is forgetting is that this is multiple different drivers. You and I drive our car, us and maybe you and your wife. Those guys are driving different drivers all the time, and every driver has a different way of doing it. And you look at any vehicle that's had multiple drivers, and they don't last nearly as long as a single operator. Thank you.
Thank you. Right behind you. All right.
Excuse me, Linda Call, 60 North Street. I think if you listened carefully, Chief, the two cars that are being traded in for this one vehicle have upwards of 170,000 miles, but 100, something over 100, right? So it's not 62,000 miles. So I just wanted to make that clear. There are two vehicles.
Thank you. In the back, in the back, sitting down.
Is there a reason why the dog has to have...
Please identify yourself.
David Wesleski, Orchard Road. Is there a reason why the dog has to have a patrol car? And why is that? And why is that patrol car constantly sitting in front of the police station running and idling?
Chief Strout.
Yes, the police dog has to have a kennel. It has to be temperature controlled. We cannot leave a dog in a non-temperature controlled vehicle. It has an alarm, so if the air conditioning or the heat goes off, it sets an alarm off to the handler. So that's why his car has to run, because there's a live animal in it that we have to care for.
Thank you. In a minute. Over here.
Tony Pagliarulo, Old Windsor Road. Just a question. I just want to be clear. If we don't vote this vehicle in, what will be the case? What will be the norm?
Chief?
When we order a cruiser, we order it in July. It takes 10 months to get it in, so it'll be another year before we see a cruiser. And we've gotten a cruiser every year since 2013, as far as the records that we could get, except for 1 year when we didn't get a cruiser and we got portable radios instead. This is a transition. Each cruiser is designated by year, and that's what we do with them. We also have less people driving them so we can save on the mileage, and we take very, very good care of them so we can drive them longer.
Thank you. Who else? Yep, okay.
Amy Musanti, Cleveland Road. I'm curious, I have a couple questions. Can't the admin or the spare be used for training? And if not, couldn't we reimburse the training officer for using their personal vehicle? And are the admin and the training outfitted as cruisers?
Chief?
The admin cruiser is assigned to me. The chief gets a take-home cruiser. The training cruiser, when we have someone go to the police academy, they drive to Holyoke and back every day, 5 days a week. The mileage expense for reimbursement would be a lot. Most of our training is out of the area, Holyoke at the closest, so it gets expensive for the town to reimburse mileage and gas. So we have our own gas for the cruisers, and we don't have to reimburse mileage. So that's why we have a training car.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, thank you. In the back, yep. Microphone is to your left.
Hello, April Van Dusen. I am at 128 Hale Street Extension. I did financing at the Ford dealerships for many years, and I'm used to looking at the accounting for different vehicles, and I've seen repair orders for police vehicles. And I think that it would be really helpful for everybody to understand like what the rebates are, you know, like the accounting on the purchase and sales agreement. So like a more detailed accounting of exactly what is being paid for. So if there's any tax incentives, any rebates, things like that. And also compare it to what a repair order looks like for a vehicle that's over 100,000 miles are typically pretty high. So like having some kind of a comparison, I think would help people to understand the pros and cons. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Up in the back.
I actually took notes when you were going through the cruisers.
You have to identify yourself every time.
Amy Misanti, Cleveland Road.
Thank you.
I had actually made notes of the year and mileage, and I had a separate, I wrote spare was 2021 62K, and training was 2021 65K. So you just said that they were the same vehicle. Okay. So the spare is in case one of the main cruisers go down, and the training does have its own vehicle. Is that one outfitted as a? No.
Chief.
Once they get into the training, court, travel, we have to take the equipment from that car and move it into the new cars to save money, because the cameras and the MDT, which is the computer, has to go together because they're installed together. So we don't have the equipment. This new car, it's expensive because it's got to have a new camera and new computer, but we will get money back for the other two cars. We just can't get that quote until we get this approved. So we will get, it will be far less than that with the two cars being traded in, but I don't have that information until we can do it.
Thank you. Everyone else? Yep, in the back, you'll be next.
Can a dog be put in a kennel?
Could you identify yourself, please?
David Wasilewski, Orchard
Thank you.
Road. Can a dog be put in a kennel during the day instead of in a $90,000 cruiser?
So our canine handler just happened to walk in. Sergeant Duryea, can your dog be placed in a kennel when you're on patrol? It goes with him. It's a police dog. So it can't be put in a kennel. It goes on calls with him.
Can a dog be brought into the police station and housed there instead of in a $90,000 cruiser with the engine running 24/7?
No, sir, that's not possible. I have to have the dog with me on call in case something arises to be able to use them there and efficiently without having to go all the way back.
All right, down in front here. Down in front. I have a comment. Okay. We'll get up there.
Andy Saborski, North Mountain Road. On Monday, if I recall correctly, there was talk about the fact that last year we purchased 2 cruisers. Someone was talking about $160,000.
Please, you don't have the floor. Thank you.
Yeah, if somebody could clarify that.
Thank you.
In 2023, we purchased 2 cruisers. We replaced the admin car that I had that was falling apart, and we bought a patrol car. So there was 2 cruisers purchased then, and that's it. That's why the number was higher that year. We typically only buy 1 cruiser per year, but we had to replace 2 that year.
Mr. Hutchison.
Thank you. Just one point of clarification so that everyone recalls. This was mentioned Monday night, but people may not have heard it. The cost of the cruiser is more like $70,000 or $72,000, something like that. The costs that bring it up to $90,000 are because it needs a new computer and a new radio, both of which are new systems. They're transferring over to new systems. And so that's, it's not the cruiser that's $90,000 by itself. It's the cruiser with the associated equipment.
Thank you. Okay.
Dave Pugh, 140 Raymond Drive. Dan Filio, ex-chief. I've been a resident in Dalton for 18 years, but one thing I've learned throughout my time here, a person I can depend on, is Dan. Dan, a former chief. As a school administrator in a nearby district, I applaud Officer Stroud for defending a budget that she has no personal gain to achieve. She's asking for, within her capacity, she's asked for $90,000 to help protect this town, and within her decision-making feels that that is a adequate request, and she wouldn't be making the request unless she thought she needed it. So again, I think we have to, and when I look at the overall budget, we're spending a lot of time on a money item comparatively that is very small to things that this room, my fellow residents in Dalton, with probably very little information at your disposal, are very quick to say yes. So again, I'm going to lean on Mr. Filio, a chief here for a very long time, and his recommendation, and Officer Stroud's request. I'm personally going to support. That's in relative small line item for our budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Gingras? Do hold on for a microphone. Oh, you should have sat in the back.
Jean Gingras, 138 Sunnyside Drive. I wasn't going to ask a question, but since Mr. Hutchison mentioned all new computer equipment and so on, my only question is this: will it be compatible with the other cruisers? Will it be a problem? That's the only question I have. Other than that, I'm happy.
Thank you. Chief?
The computer and the camera, the cruiser camera, gets installed together. So they're connected together. So when we take one, they both go, and then we can take them and put them in the next car. But we're just out of the equipment at this point. And they also have to put lights and sirens and all of those things, so that's what ups the cost as well. It's fully equipped.
Thank you. Is moved the question, has been seconded. All in favor of moving the question signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. All right. This is by secret ballot. That's already been voted on.
We're going to take you by sections, and we're going to start with the upper deck first. You must have the red card in order to get the choice. We took care of it.
So a yes vote is to authorize the $90,000. A no vote is to deny it. Article 22A.
All right, and if anyone cannot come down, we'll come to you.
It's the police cruiser only. You're going to read It seems to be more than 50, too.
Southampton last night.
Yeah.
They have a bylaw that says anytime there's a borrowing, you have to do a secret ballot. And there was only two.
Yeah.
But, there was debate back and forth, and then the secret ballot was like 110 to 3.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, we just wasted half an hour. Wow.
Top box. Top or bottom box?
Okay.
So somebody just asked, why does the officers have to be shoulder to shoulder at the door to have that? Yeah, I heard that too. That's what they do. Guess I cleared it out.
Yep, we go last. Where did my card go? Where did my card go? I just have to.
You don't get a ballot.
Everyone had a chance to vote? We're about to count the votes now. No, chief.
The tank is 15 feet long, John. 15 feet long. There's six bedrooms in the house. Oh, okay. And 3 bathrooms. But it's a single residence. Single residence. Big family, huh? Old, probably one of the original farmhouses in Sheffield. It's like the old, it's got the breezeway, the summer kitchen, and then it's got a kind of the main dining room, kitchen area. It's huge. It's one of the biggest houses I've been, like, that old and been in. I know you mentioned it the other day, I think. No. Septic. And then the water department came, and couldn't find the water anymore. So then I ended up having to take my back truck down. Oh. I had to excavate the whole thing until we found it. And then we dug it. Some of my drives. So I told the guy. I said, you're lucky this truck was available. He goes, why? I go, usually it's on the road. I said, just dumb luck. Never came back on? No. They had a search for the shut-off outside. They didn't want to shut it off. It was supposed to stay a valve. It was so rusty. He just didn't want it. They called the water department. Have to shut the water off. Yeah. Slot. Turns out that thing that they shut off in front of that house was a shut-off for the house across the street. And look, they call it hot water. What's that? I put in like 100 years ago or something. I put the new water line into the post office. I shut theirs off, and the tattoo place went out. Probably connected. They are. It goes right through the building. Yeah, he had to close for the afternoon because he didn't have any running water. His name's Josh. Nice guy. At one time, yeah. That is a question. Thompson. No, so once we were like, we don't know what we're doing. So we went in the basement and we followed the water line, went to the they had a curb stop inside because one went to their hot water heater and then one went to they have a 1867 boiler in that basement. It says right 1867. And so the water goes into the boiler and out the other side over to the tattoo place. Find that out right, you could probably send hot water over there. So that's where we got a brand new roof and a 25-year roof. I don't have to think about it anymore. Maybe you're 24. Does that come from you, John, or the clicker system? Where did that come from? Did you receive the email? That was from somebody. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was. Yeah. I thought that was. That's a ticket. I mean, makes sense.
two monitors up here, one's a yes, and one's a no.
Oh, okay. I would.
Has a very strong, very strong.
I'm trying, but they want to send out mailers to everybody.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that list, Pag wants to, he thinks that make a 2-page card with all those questions on it, and then some, send it to everybody in the town, which is great. I'm just curious how many, if we're gonna have to pay for all this, I said, how many people, how many people are gonna put a stamp on it and send it back?
Right. That was top. 60 cents for a stamp.
Yeah, so now we're gonna have to put a stamp to and from. That's the only way I see it happening. I don't know, it just seems like a lot. And think of the man hours. Think of the man hours to go through that.
There you are, sir.
To figure out what people checked and.
Okay, thank you. The vote is in on Article 22A, yes, 99, no, 60, I'm sorry, 95, and no, 69. The article passes. Article 22B.
I move that the town transfer the following amount from free cash for the purpose of funding the purchase and equipping of departmental equipment in accordance with fiscal year 2026 capital program, including any incidental or related costs. This is B, $250,000 for a truck with sewer flushing equipment for the Department of Public Works.
Second.
22B has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Mr. Bishop.
I'd like to amend the motion, please. I amend the motion of the Finance Committee by replacing the $250,000 for a truck with a sewer flushing equipment for the Department of Public Works with $540,000 for a truck with a sewer flushing equipment and catch basin cleaning equipment for the Department of Public Works for the following reasons. This new truck will replace a 1988 truck, a 1992 truck, and a 2007 sewer flusher truck. The 1988 truck has been retired for 4 years. They have 510 catch basins that need to be cleaned yearly per Mass DEP. We're renting a truck for 1 month per year to do it around $20,000. When we have the rental truck, it takes 2 guys to run it every day for the month, which hampers other operations in town. If we're able to get the new truck, it would give us more flexibility through the year to clean the basins. The 1992 truck and sewer flusher trailer were used pretty much on a daily basis. It's old, tired, and has had a lot of maintenance issues in the past few years. We have 837 sewer manholes to main throughout the town to be cleaned with the new truck that were unable to be vacuumed out at this point. This will not impact the tax rate, and if we wait, we'll most likely have to pay more money, and we'll probably have to finance this. This will be out of cash. Thank you. Free cash.
There's a motion on the floor that's been seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Mr. Pagliarulo.
Thank you.
Please identify yourself.
Tony Pagliarulo, Old Windsor Road.
Thank you.
I just want to be clear. The motion you've made, Bob, is this in addition to the $250,000?
No, yes, there will be a total of that.
No, it's changing 250,000 to 540,000.
Correct.
290,000 more.
Okay, so, all right, so the next question is, as it's written, the truck now is for $250,000 with a trailer. Could that be explained in terms of the age, the mileage, what's it used for, how often?
Ask the question again.
The $250,000 for the truck and the sewer flushing equipment, could that be explained in terms of the year, the mileage, the use, the condition?
Bud's going to explain that.
Mr. Hall here? Yes. Go ahead.
Hello. The sewer truck is a 1992 International that was a Army surplus truck back in the day. We use it to tow the trailer, which is a 2007, which has around, I think it's got a little over 3,000 hours on it. The trailer does. And the sewer flusher maintains all the sewer mains through town. I don't have the account of miles of pipe we have in town, but we're out with that 7 days a week pretty much, if there's an emergency or whatever it may be. This is a truck that we're replacing here it needs to be replaced. And we've had some serious maintenance issues with it the past couple of years, and to be serviced, it has to go to Chelmsford, so it's gone for a few days. We have to get a contractor on call in case we have an emergency in town. I hope that explains what you're looking for.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Over here.
Mr. Collins.
I am 100 in support of the $250,000 for a new jet trailer or truck. But what I am not in favor of is a $540,000 truck. For some people that came from the Dalton way, in the Dalton Water District parking lot is a vac truck. Some of you might have noticed it's parked on the side there. The huge vehicles are very sensitive pieces of equipment. If the vacuum hoses stick inside, up against walls, you have tendencies to rip hoses, rip nozzles. The cost of some of these nozzles and hoses for replacement can be up to $5,000 just for the maintenance. The cost to rent a truck for a month, which is enough time to clean the storm drains in town, is around $45,000. The cost to hire a company to come in and clean the same storm drains is around $45,000. That takes into account the annual maintenance cost for a vac truck is between $15,000 and $20,000 divided by that month. The maintenance cost, if a company is hired to clean the drains, is nothing to the town. The maintenance never goes away on that vehicle. For 2 men to work for a month to clean the drains is roughly $450 to $500 a day for the town. If a company is hired, the labor with 2 laborers on that truck is $45,000 for the contract to clean the town's catch basins for the month. Renting is cheaper than owning, trust me. The life of a vac truck is about 12 to 15 years. I'm assuming in a town we might get 15 to 20 because of the less volume of activity that this truck would be used for. This means the cost of the ownership each year is roughly $45K. We could do that in a month and have everything done with no maintenance. Clearly, the town will save money by hiring a company to do the work. For the reasons noted, which are based on my years of experience owning and operating a vac truck. The truck is also a very large vehicle. There are many areas in this town that truck cannot gain access to. I know, I've been told, we'll just jet from the other end. Jetting backwards on a sewer line is not advantageous. It creates a whole nother line of issues. How do I know? I've been there. This is the option. The option for a trailer is the best way to go. The opinion of many people and operators that have these trucks is there's a reason why we have them and work and have contracts with many towns. It's because towns do not want to have to maintain these vehicles. I will use the city of Pittsfield, for example. They have 3 of these trucks. At no one time do they ever have 3 trucks operating at the same time. In regards to the jetter that the town owns, my opinion, it is very much needed. We need a new one. The old jetter has done a very great job and deserves to be retired before it gives up on us. It's absolutely time for us to buy the new jetter, and I encourage the support for the amendment for the $250,000, not the additional $290,000, which I feel would be very fiscal and unresponsible for us to do. Dalton will have a select board or stormwater commission member, I think, needs to address this in detail and find out where more of our options and issues are in our town. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone? Anyone else? Yep. Mr. Hall.
Sorry, I actually did the numbers that you were talking about. So I have the numbers exactly that we use. And for me to have my two guys, me and the two guys renting the truck, the insurance, it comes to $28,509 for a month. And to have your company, which is on county bid, for $285 an hour to do the same work, it comes to $56,420. So I don't know where your numbers exactly come from there, because it's double.
I'm basing it on your 560 some odd catch basins. It wouldn't take us a month to do that, but I was trying to keep a month-to-month issue.
I thought you've done it before and it took you that long, so I assume that's kind of what the
3
time
weeks,
frame was.
about 3 weeks.
All right, but I'm just gonna, I will say, if I don't get this and we can replace the trailer does need to be done. But we were trying to move forth. Stormwater, we have to clean this basins every year once. In sewer emergencies, we could clean the sewer manholes out if they're full in your front yard, your backyard, wherever they may be. And that machine was gonna allow us to do that. But, we're trying, that's all.
Thank you. Someone else? In a minute. Yeah.
Amy Musanti, Cleveland Road. My significant other was in charge of all the equipment for the town of Lenox for 18 years, and he pretty much concurs with Robert Collins and said that the maintenance on that truck would be atrocious and that it does not make sense for the town to go forward with that. He almost never shares his opinion, and so I just wanted to share that because he has years of experience, and he said that would be a bad investment. He said the same thing.
Thank you. Mr. Hutchison.
Yeah, a question for the DPW superintendent. Is $250,000 a reasonable figure for replacing the truck and the sewer flushing equipment with the trailer? I know this was a figure that came up in the Finance Committee. I'm not sure how much data they had to use at that point. So is this enough to do what you would need to do to get a truck and a trailer and sewer flushing equipment?
It's close. Sorry, it's close, but it's not quite enough. I did get quotes since the Finance Committee made up this on their own, came up with this number without talking to me, which would have been nice. But it's more like 270 to 275. I can get it, a truck and trailer that would be comparable to what we have. I did get some quotes.
Thank you. Anyone else? Up in the back? No? Okay. Thank you.
Stephen Pepper, Oak Street. I am still something of a newcomer in town, though I have lived here for 7 years. And I'm also completely ignorant of all the details of this process. But my concern is to raise the question of an alternative. There must be, perhaps in Lenox, perhaps somewhere else, another comparable town that would be interested in sharing the cost of this truck. If it doesn't take all year to clean the sewers, then let's share.
Thank you. Up in the back.
Hi again. April Van Dusen, 128 Hale Street Extension. I just wanted to get some clarification on the exact total of the $540,000. What was the breakdown of that again? Is that for all 3 trucks?
Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Hutchison?
It's going to be one truck, but it's replacing 3.
Okay, down here.
Hi, Eric Shepard. I live on Old Windsor Road. And my question was, if we're replacing a surplus vehicle, would the replacement option also be a surplus vehicle, or would it be new?
Mr. Hall?
It would be new. Surplus vehicles aren't as popular as once they were to get as they used to be.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Al Nato again, 24 Elaine Avenue. You know, I'm not a Dalton native, but I've been living in Dalton since January of '63. And I have served on a number of different boards and commissions as a volunteer. I have come to respect the decision of the people we have in authority over all of the different departments, and I'm getting a little bit tired of hearing their questions and their proposals being challenged. If we don't want them there and we don't like what their decisions are, let's get rid of them and hire somebody new. And I dare you to find somebody that'll do the job as well as you're getting now, both the chief of police and the highway superintendent.
Thank you. Down in front here. Yes, I'm pointing to you.
Cheryl Rose, North Mountain Road. I would like some clarification from our Finance Committee, because I thought I understood that the Finance Committee recommended the $250,000, but not to go higher, and just talking about what can we afford, you know, spending within our means here. Am I misunderstanding? What was the Finance Committee's recommendation on this?
Mr. Doshi?
Thank you. The main concern, and I can indeed speak for the Finance Committee as a whole, was the maintenance costs surrounding this piece of equipment. The piece of equipment, the jet trailer that we presently have, I happen to be at a job for my business, and it was making some noises that weren't so pleasing. So that piece of equipment is gone. But I did some investigation and shared that with the Finance Committee. And I spoke with the town of Lenox. And Lenox certainly, of all towns, can afford one of these pieces of equipment. And they have a mechanic on duty in that town. So in finding that out, they've thought of it and actually had planned at one time to use that type of equipment, but they felt that the maintenance was too exorbitant for them, because it takes specialized training to run it, and it takes specialized mechanics to fix them. So that was our main concern, is where it isn't so specialized to handle the jet equipment. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Good evening, Monique Ollinger, Ruby Terrace. I reluctantly support the $250,000 sewer flushing equipment. I feel like, as we discussed on Monday night, as a town, a lot of residents are low income, senior, our population is small, and we did approve a large portion of the budget. It seems as though we're nitpicking these other items, but at some point we need to be a little bit more frugal with our spending. And it doesn't seem like a $540,000 amendment to increase the required truck that we may need. And that seems like a really big expenditure when it seems as though it was explained that we're currently using rental of equipment and paying the staff and renting the equipment to do the 2-month task is significantly cheaper. That's what we've been doing, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that system. So I'm not sure why we feel as a community that we have the money to spend on all of these things, and which things do we choose to not spend the additional money on. It's hard to pick, and I don't feel like I want to pick our seniors, and I don't think we want to pick our schools, and it really limits where we can save some money. So it's not to necessarily pick apart or in distrust of our respected leaders. It's just, it is our fiscal responsibility and our civic duty to stand up, to question these costs that are continuously rising.
Thank you. Anyone? Needs to be seconded. Question has been moved and seconded. All in favor of moving the question? Opposed by saying no. So the question right now, honestly, is the motion itself. It's only the motion to increase the allocation from $250,000 to $540,000. All those in favor of raising the allocation to $540,000 signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed by saying no. No. The motion fails. Article 22B, all those in favor of the original article by funding $250,000 signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed by saying no. Thank you, that article passes. Article 23.
I move that the town transfer from free cash the following amounts for the purpose of funding the purchase and equipping of the following items in accordance with the fiscal year 2026 capital program, including all incidental and related costs. Department of Public Works, $16,000 for a sidewalk scan project to analyze and grade the condition of the sidewalks throughout the town. Buildings and Grounds Department, $16,000 for painting the walls of the second floor in Town Hall. $238,000 for improvements to the Town Hall plumbing. $68,000 for the replacement chairlift at Town Manager's Office. $25,000 for an update to the town's wage and classification system. For the senior center, $5,000 for an upgrade to the audio system.
Second?
Article 23 is moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Richard Hall, Green Ridge Drive. So, I had a question on the plumbing. I know it's not on this one article, but I guess it must be tied into Article 24 and the update for spending $880 for heating and ventilation upgrade. Are the two tied together? And maybe we can have a little bit more explanation on what's planned. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hutchison.
Yes, thank you. The projects are separate. The plumbing project is to install a new sewer lateral from Town Hall out to the main sewer line, because the current one operating from the south side of the building is highly problematic, as the chief will tell you. We've had backups that were highly unfortunate, and this would take all of the plumbing from that end of the town hall out a new lateral directly to the main, rather than going through a number of turns, twists and turns before it left the building. And the other article we'll address when we come to it. I'll just say now that it may not be ripe for discussion at this, for passage at this point. But the plumbing is designed, and the logistics will be challenging, but it's, we believe, a necessary project and would like it to move forward regardless of the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. It is an entirely separate project. No, it is a sewer project. It does not involve the installation of water facilities, except as they may have to be replaced as the plumbing is replaced. But it is for the sewer system.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you.
Stephen Pepper, Oak Street. I understand the concept of a capital budget, but I'm wondering about the upgrade to the wage and classification system. Is that a consultant? Is that software? What?
Mr. Hutchison.
Yes, that would involve hiring a consultant. We did one several years ago. It was very useful. It was done before what was a substantial inflation of wages that came after COVID. You may recall that a lot of companies had to raise their wages in order to get people to work for them. That has not abated substantially, and it is also not reflected in our current wages, so we find ourselves more quickly than we thought we would behind in terms of our starting pay.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay.
Mike Hopper, First Street. Wouldn't that be best left to the next guy? Maybe he might not need it. I don't know. You're leaving, correct? And you think it's a good idea to have it, and maybe it is, but should we let the next guy figure that out?
Mr. Hutchison.
If it were only my idea, I would say absolutely. However, you'll note that we did just have a round of union negotiations, and this body accepted the raises for the highway and the dispatchers unions on Monday. Of course, the police budget is still under consideration, but it's not just my idea. It is something that we find we are not as competitive with other towns as we would like. This is an authorization, so no one is required to do the study, but I believe that there is substantial support in the select board, at least, for finding out at least where people stand. Some positions need to be reclassified. We've done that going on an interim basis, just not comprehensively. So this would be, again, a look for internal consistency between positions and some sense of how it relates to comparable wages in other towns of our population and budget size.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Sylvia Smith, North Street. I'm confused about the chairlift. If this is an accessibility thing, don't we have an elevator in the library? I don't even know what it's used for or where it is.
Mr. Hutchison.
We do have a lift in the library. What that means is that if there is a night meeting in the town hall, we have to have the library open to let people in and use that lift. It's awkward. It's very awkward for people. We were supposed to have a functioning lift there, what has happened is that there is a part that's involved with the platform that people would sit on, and it's no longer made, and it broke. It's no longer functional. So this would not only bring people up to the second floor of Town Hall, it would also bring people down to at least the lobby of the police station, which is currently downstairs. There is no alternate way to bring people down to the police station. So that has resulted in some unfortunate incidents. You can imagine trying to carry someone down those stairs. In a wheelchair. It's not a good state of affairs at all. So that lift goes not only up to the second floor, but down to the police department.
Thank you. Anyone else? Way in the back.
Hi again, April Van Dusen, Hale Street Extension. Just to circle back to the town wage and classification system that you were just talking about. I was just wondering if talking about the salaries being competitive, if that was in reference to a 5-day work week or the current 4-day work week, like as a perk to have that Friday off.
Mr. Hutchison.
The comparison should be based on the number of hours worked, and the 9-hour a day for 4 days, that's 36-hour work week, is something that a lot of employees like. I know that we have an arrangement where if people need to work up to their 40 hours, their previous 40 hours, which was in place before the financial crisis of 2010, roughly around that era, we have a way for people to work 40 hours if they need it. They were taken down to 36 for financial reasons. It's not as though the workload decreased. So that's why we have the ability for people, if they need to work on a Friday, to get those extra hours. That study could be constructed in any number of different ways, and of course I would leave that to my successor. I think the underlying point is that the landscape of pay, especially at entry levels, has shifted so that we are now not where we had planned to be when we did the last study, which was substantially competitive with other towns in the region. We are now really losing that status. And when entry-level rates in the private sector are at $20 an hour and we're starting at 17, 18, it's very difficult to get people to come to work for the town.
Thank you.
Carolyn Valley, Raymond Drive. I just want to point out that not having a chairlift is an ADA probably violation that could open us up to a lawsuit. So besides it being a social justice issue, so I would highly recommend we fix the ability for somebody who has less ability to access our buildings.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Article 23, moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. Passes, thank you. Article 24.
I move to pass this article over.
Pass it or table it? Do you want to pass it or table it?
Pass
We're
it.
going to come back to it?
We're going to come, not this time, at a future date.
So I think you want to table it.
All right, I motion to table it.
Thank you. There's a motion to table Article 24 that is not a debatable motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. Thank you. Article 25.
I move the town to vote to authorize the select board to petition the legislature to amend Section 5 of the Dalton Towns Manager Act as printed in the warrant. This will also be a question on the ballot for the town's May 12th, 2025 election.
Second.
Article 25 is moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Yes.
Carolyn Valley, Raymond Drive. I'm not opposed to not having the person live in the town, but we would not, would there be a mechanism to make sure they actually have to work physically in our town, or would we allow somebody to do all of their work remotely? Because I've heard towns doing that across the country where they're not remotely involved in their town.
Thank you. Mr. Bishop?
No, we would require the person to work in town.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Linda Call, 60 North Street. I just would like to know if they would be required to be a resident of the Commonwealth.
Thank you. Go ahead. Mr. Hutchison.
The wording we've presented would only require them to be a citizen of the United States.
Anyone else? Okay.
Joseph Albano, 609 South Street in Dalton. Not wanting to limit the field of prospects, because we would like the best prospect to be our next town manager. I do think it's important that the town manager live in the town of Dalton to have to bear the brunt of the decisions made by the select board and these votes that we take at the town meetings. If they don't have any skin in the game, what do they really care?
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Rose.
I'm definitely for this because we don't want to limit our options for a town manager. Housing is not easily available here. Somebody may not want to move here until they see they like the job. And I just like to say, you don't have to be in kidney failure to be a good nephrologist.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Article 25 moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed by saying no. Thank you. It passes. Article 26.
I move the town to authorize the select board to petition the legislature to remove the police department from the civil service as printed in the warrant.
Second.
Article 26 is moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Up in the back.
Mike Van Duzen, 128 Hale Street Extension. My question concerns, because I've talked to the select board about this previously, is in lieu of other towns in the county that are also going this route with mixing between professional and the civil service statute, what are the pros and cons of doing so?
Chief, can you answer that?
Thank you. Civil service currently does not benefit Western Massachusetts whatsoever. We get a list of community members. The last time we went through civil service, We had 2 people on our list from Dalton. One already worked for us, and one was our daughter, and that was a hard no thank you for me. Sorry, but love her, but no thank you. Then the list went statewide, and we had hundreds and hundreds of candidates that got notified, and nobody would come in because they were all outside of Boston. They don't want to come to Berkshire County. So it becomes very difficult to hire local candidates. So what we have been doing, because we are not acting as in civil service because we voted this out in 2022, we have a company that comes in and gives an exam, does not cost the town of Dalton anything. The candidates pay to take the test, and then they rank the candidates and give us that list, and that's how we hire. And it's all personality, aptitude, all sorts of, it's a whole police exam. So we do it that way at no cost to the town, and we get a great list of candidates from that, and they're local.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mary Cherry, Patricia Avenue. I'm just curious why we're taking this vote again. Did it expire, our vote from 22?
Chief?
I've been in conversation with civil service for 3 years. They're telling us we did not need to submit this to the legislature, and we just had to notify them because we came in 1967 by town vote. We left in 2022. We just had to notify them, and we submitted it to the legislature, which we didn't need to do. So they're just stalling a little bit. So I've been told again just to notify them in writing with the minutes from both meetings, which we've already done. So we're just waiting on a response. But I think out of an abundance of caution, they want to just make sure with the civil service new laws that we're still okay if they tell us no. So it's just a precautionary.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, all those in favor of Article 26 signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. Thank you, that passes. Article 27.
I move the town amend its noise bylaw as printed in the warrant.
Second. Article 27 is moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
We need a non-resident recognized to speak.
Did they ask for it? Up in the back. There's a non-resident?
Our health agent in the third row.
Okay, yeah, we'll get, not yet.
Lindsay Drive. It's working. So I want to move that he speak. He is a non-resident. But I also want to speak because as I'm reading this chart under A, it looks like it's saying that in our neighborhoods, we can make as much volume of noise for as long as we want, day in and day out. So if somebody wants to have a raging party, like, we just have to put up with it. Is that correct? And I also want to move that he speaks as a non-resident.
Can we have the article actually presented by the health agent?
Okay, we're going to have the health agent present the article so we have a better understanding of it. Agnes, if you'd identify yourself, please, and tell us what this is about.
Agnes Wachowski, Town of Dalton, Water Health Agent. Basically, we've had some people question in the town about the noise bylaw. And there's questions about public nuisance, and there's questions about who answers the calls for the commercial part. So the chief and I spoke, and we realized that the public nuisance would be handled by the cops, and then the commercial part would be handled by the Board of Health. And that's where this came into that this was true. Oh, I'm sorry. That does sound better. Like I said, we had situations in town where there's been public nuisance, where, like you said, that there's parties, and that the police would be handling that. And then we've had situations where there's, my understanding of this, that there was commercial issues, commercial businesses and noise problems. And the chief and I had discussions about that, and the chief said that she'd be handling the public nuisance, and then I'd be handling the Board of Health would be handling the commercial. So we tried to keep the personal part out of this and make this more commercial. We've also had situations recently where there's been calls at like 4 in the morning, right? I don't work 24/7. I'm not here on the weekend, even though some people do believe that I am, and sometimes are in my office, but the police said that they would cover me at that point. They would cover the calls at that time. So we tried to make it clearer, and this would be something that, again, that's why the residential part was crossed off. So the parties are a public nuisance. And again, the police would be handling that. Other towns handle it differently. But this is what we were trying to work out. This may change in a year from now. There may be, an adjustment as we move forward on this, but right now we're trying to make it clearer because, again, we've had a lot of people come to the Board of Health for something that is a public nuisance with a party and noise. Anybody have any questions? Oh, I'm sorry, Tony.
We will. Hold on. Mr. Droshine.
The noise bylaw was created and adopted on February 1st, 2009, until recently served Dalton rather well. Defined within the noise bylaw is a noise control officer who is tasked with assuring this bylaw is followed. The change to the noise bylaw being considered tonight is an outgrowth of the town not having a noise control officer. Modifying this bylaw will not resolve the question of who should be the town's NCO or who should be trained to use the decibel meter or how any off-hour issues should be managed. Also noteworthy is that should the modifications be approved as written, snow removal contractors who provide services to residents and businesses have expressed concern that they will not be allowed to begin plowing until 7 a.m. on Wednesdays and 8 a.m. on weekends. And presently, depending on the storm, they typically begin no later than 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. And can Dalton residents and businesses afford a 2 or 3 hour delay? These issues should be addressed by the town manager, and if not by the town manager, by the select board, with the goal of developing a fair division of responsibilities between the police and the health department, including defining who will be the NCO. Until this important review has been completed, any amendment to this bylaw seems premature and ill-advised. I therefore strongly encourage those present tonight to vote against this article, and I encourage the Select Board to expeditiously address this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. And someone can move to table it. Somebody can move to table it. It has to be passed not unanimously, majority. Do you use the microphone? Identify yourself, please. Nobody knows what you and I are talking about except what I'm saying.
Cheryl Rose, North Mountain Road. I wanted to move to table this article for tonight. So it can be considered in the future, but just let's move on.
A motion to table is not debatable. All in favor of tabling this article signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. Article is tabled. Thank you. Article 28 is by citizen petition. Someone needs to make that motion. The Select Board and the Finance Committee does not make it. Who will that be? Oh, is it? Mr. Collins, that's yours?
That's mine.
Would you please make the motion?
I make a motion. I move that the town move to pass the capital planning citizens petition forward for the planning and budgeting and 5-year and 10-year management plans for the town based on our 25-year capital town plan. I feel that this is a very important part of helping the town move forward with not having so many crises and hopefully seeing future expenditures that need to come down the line so everything isn't always a crisis. Hopefully this will be part of planning for the future and helping develop and move Dalton forward financially and fiscally responsibly.
Second. Article 28 is moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop.
The select board voted 4-1 not to accept this. There's no mention of a select board member on this. And actually, the other thing that really bothers me about this, we're going to get a new town manager. I think we should be courteous enough to let him decide or her decide if they need this committee. It also says the town manager chooses this committee, and the very people that signed this just busted the select board for not choosing, not being open about the town manager search committee. So now they're saying it's okay for one person to do it when we did it with multiple people on the select board, so.
Mr. Irwin. I'll get to you in a minute.
Me?
No, Tom Irwin.
I have a hand up.
I know, he did too.
Lee, Massachusetts cites with pride that a major reason they received $1 million toward their new $35 million safety building and town hall building was that they have a 5-year plan that is updated annually and followed religiously. The proposed Dalton Capital Planning Committee is modeled after Lee's committee and ultimately will very likely bring Dalton similar results. You might ask, how were Lee taxpayers convinced to approve a combination new safety building and town hall costing an estimated $35 million? The answer lies in Lee's planning. Lee's master plan anticipated the need for this new town building and timed its construction to coincide with the last payment on their school bond bill. As a result, there was no significant impact on their tax rate. Wouldn't we want this for Dalton? As a Dalton Finance Committee member for 4 budget seasons, I can attest to not having within that time a 5-year plan to help guide the committee with our decisions. Having sat through several select board meetings where budget items were discussed, I never heard mention that the budget item being considered was consistent with the 5-year plan. And when ARPA monies were being discussed by the board and dispensed, there was no reference to Dalton's 5-year plan or its master plan. This is very concerning. If you had a $21 million per year business, would you be comfortable running it without a 5-year capital plan? I seriously doubt it. The select board has expressed concern that a select board member is not designated member of the committee. This was simply the result of following Lee's model, a proven model that works extremely well. Additionally, the town manager, who is a representative of the select board, is a member of the committee, and further, I'm sure the committee would appreciate a select board member attending all committee meetings and would embrace any input the board member might provide. In summary, this proposed bylaw is a proven approach to town finances that holds great promise for prudent guidance of Dalton's financial future. I therefore respectfully request the citizens of Dalton vote for this important bylaw with a realistic hope that it will do as much for Dalton as it has done for Lee. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Boyle.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Microphone, please.
I don't need the microphone.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
It's on TV. They can't hear you on TV if you don't use it.
I would just like to say, I first of all echo the opinion of the board and the chairman. They voted 4-1 against this article. And I'm going to give you a brief rundown of the type of planning we already have. We have a town manager, fully trained professional, and I'm certain the next one will be, who plan every day with the town financial officers and meets with them to develop plans as we move forward. We have a town
planning board who does the same thing, works on plans and long-term planning for the town, covering all areas. We have a town planner, professional town planner, full-time, who works on long-term plans in other areas of expertise. He assists the Board of Appeals and the Planning Board. That's his full-time job. Now, if you are interested in adding another layer to the bureaucracy in town, then you should vote for this. But if you're interested in extending your confidence in the Board of Selectmen, the Planning Board, the Town Planner, et cetera, you should vote against this. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? It's coming. No, it's not.
Henry Rose, North Mountain Road. I'm totally in favor of this. I'm sorry, guys. Some bad decisions have been made in the past. For example, we built a brand new school instead of renovating the old school. I regret that I voted for the school. We should have renovated it, and we should have been saving our dollars because the current police station is in badly need of repair, and I wish we had the funds to fix that, and I'm not sure we have the funds anymore. So I think that was a bad decision to build this school, and I know that we were a part of that. The senior center, we shouldn't have built that building. We should have instead worked out a deal with one of the beautiful churches in town and rented space there. That was a bad decision. We should have been saving our money. We have upcoming projects like sewers coming up, and I'm not sure where we're going to find the money for that. So to have a group of volunteers and professionals who are willing to sit down and figure this out for the long run makes excellent sense for me. I'm voting yes. I hope everybody else does.
Thank you.
Did I respond?
Mr. Boyle.
Thank you. First of all,
Use
I'd
your
like to
microphone.
Huh? Oh, microphone, yes. I would like to say the select board or the town of Dalton did not decide to build a new school. It was the voters of the district, to be frank. And two, not building a senior center, that is the very heart of this community. I mean, it certainly is. I don't know how you can say that, Henry, but I have to take exception to it. And I was proud to be, along with Mr. Bishop, members of the board that worked for several years to get the funds through appropriation by the town meeting and borrowing and grants to build the senior center in the best location possible in the center of town on town-owned property. I just don't understand your charges, but everybody's entitled to an opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jimbo Doucette, Renee Drive. I'm pretty sure a lot of us were kind of stunned last year when we had a town meeting and we voted all our appropriations. And then 2 weeks later, there was an article in the paper about how atrocious our police station is. I had no idea. I think if we had a capital planning team with a 5-year plan, stuff like that wouldn't happen. And the people in town would have a better idea of what's coming down the pike and how we're going to plan for it. And as far as the boards doing their jobs, I'm also a member of the Dalton Clean Air Coalition, and we are finding, when it comes regards to the permits, special permits given to the Berkshire Concrete Company for mining sand, our boards have been kind of asleep. So,
thank you.
Hi, April Van Duzen, Hale Street Extension again. I think that having this capital planning committee would only benefit the town, considering the financial dire straits that we're in right now. And that's landed us into this situation where we're having to ask a zillion questions about every tiny little spending cut that we need to make. And I think that I just want to clarify that if we had known that we had huge expenses like town hall repairs and police station costs coming up, maybe we could have worked something out with the Wahconah situation, this beautiful building, it's huge. Maybe it was a little too much. And I think that we also need to have one of these capital planning boards to have more transparency for these kinds of things instead of it just creeping up at a meeting and having people show up angry and having a lot of questions. And we really need that transparency from the town, especially right now, and especially looking forward with all of these expenses that are coming up. We really need to have somebody to sit down and discuss and ask questions instead of doing it once a year. And I also second that with regards to Berkshire Concrete and the Pleasant Street neighborhood, we have not been getting transparency, and we have not been getting communication, and it's really broken down the trust with the town. So I think that this would definitely be beneficial for the relationship between the people paying the taxes and the town officials. Thank you.
Thank you. Down here in the front.
Hi, Jeannie Ingram, Glennon Avenue. I just have a clarifying question. I'm new to town. What is the remit of the planning board versus a capital planning board or planning committee?
Mr. Hutchinson.
The planning board is charged with land use decisions in particular, though it also is charged by the state with the creation of a master plan, which includes economic development, recreation, and other items. We do have a master plan, but the day-to-day work of the planning board is usually in permitting local individuals, residences, businesses in land use. There's a section of the bylaws which is under the purview of the planning board, and that includes the kinds of signs you can use, where you can put your house on the lot, the fences, how far they are from the neighbor, all kinds of things like that. So if you're interested, I can answer more later, but the planning board is, aside from the master plan, the major work of the planning board is in land use regulations.
Thank you. Mr. Droshine.
First of all, I would like to express my support for this capital planning committee. After spending 30 years on the finance committee and watching all of these various things blow up on us over the years, as I recall, the last 5-year capital plan was, I believe, 2014, but it may be a little less than that. And that was helpful, but it wasn't complete. This committee will be charged with making that complete and keeping it complete. And I would have to say that would make both the townspeople opportunity and to understand what is in front of the town, as well as it helps to plan the finances for what is in front of the town. And hopefully some of that would even help us with our human resources issues as well, to plan for succession of personnel within the building. So I would advocate that this be approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carolyn Valley, Raymond Drive. I was wondering if, Mr. Hutchinson, as you're getting ready to leave this position, thinking about the future and somebody new coming in, would this committee be helpful to the new person coming in, supporting a new person that doesn't maybe know Dalton? Would it be a support system and really help move our community forward?
Mr. Hutchinson.
When I first came to Dalton, and let me take this opportunity to say that it has been a great privilege to work here. and I wish you all the best in all this future work. I immediately noticed two things that I wanted to work on. One was an update of the employee handbook, and the other was a comprehensive capital plan. In 4 years, I've not been able to do that. I've done many, many things, but the creation of a capital plan is a substantial undertaking. And if you look back at town reports and this one and the one that will be coming out next year, you'll see that I've been involved in a variety of projects, that there have been a variety of human resources challenges, and that I have simply not been able to get to it. It was one of my first goals when I got here. So I'm not going to advocate one way or the other. I will just note that I personally was not able to find sufficient time to devote to making a detailed capital plan for the town.
Thank you.
Cheryl Rose, North Mountain Road. I think it's fiscally irresponsible not to have a capital plan. I really don't understand how anybody can think it's something we shouldn't have. It can only be a positive thing. And some words have been thrown out. We have a planning committee, we have a planner. As far as anything I'm aware of, these entities are reactive, not proactive. You know, if somebody wants to do a project, they come to the planning board. Yes, it has the name planning in it, but really I don't think they're doing planning per se. They are voting on zoning issues and deciding, you know, what's appropriate and what's not, and issuing permits for that. And I think our planner works along with them. Yes, we have a master plan. I don't know how much of the master plan is actually the foundation of the decisions that are being made, like in 5 years. What are, you know, the 3 things we're working on in the next 5 years? What are they? It's like, what are we looking at 5 years from now? Like, I don't know if we even know, because it seems that the way our town operates is reactive, not proactive. So I would just repeat, I think it's fiscally irresponsible not to have a capital plan.
Thank you. In the back. Okay, right here first. I'm sorry.
Hi, Eric Shepard, Old Windsor Road. I just, there was a mention of this building and this project, and it just reminded me of, I know this was a huge decision and big expense for this building, and like it or not, whatever, you know, here it is. But also after it was built, some people may remember that the track here was unfit for people to run on and was a big problem. I don't know why that wasn't planned in. And now there's a concession stand with restrooms that's being built through donations, from my understanding, at least from the signage here. I'm just thinking, like, there was so much money spent on Wahconah to be built, to have this beautiful school, but how did we miss a track? And then after that, how did we miss a concession stand? And I'm just thinking, for the town, it's a great example of we need to plan ahead and include all of these things so that we're not suddenly surprised by going, oh, Dalton needs a track over in Greenridge or wherever, and we don't have that, metaphorically speaking, of course.
Thank you.
I'm getting tired of talking, but we're here nickeling and diming things all night long. Is this planner going to be a paid position? I've spent almost 20 years on a Board of Appeals. I've spent another 20 on a Traffic Commission and a 20 on a Prudential Committee. I never received a nickel because nobody volunteers anymore. And if you expect that somebody's going to step forward and volunteer to do this work for you, you're barking up the wrong tree. Thank you.
Thank you. Up in the back, yeah.
Mary Cherry, Patricia Avenue. a couple of things. So we live in a town, but our school is regional. And so the planner would have very little, or this capital plan would have very little to say about whether we had a track or concession stands or anything like that. I recognize some people here, I don't recognize everybody. I used to sit up there on that stage, and before I sat on that stage as a select board member, I used to think that the town wasn't transparent because I didn't go to meetings, right? Like nothing is done in private. They're all publicly posted meetings, and it takes too much time for every citizen to go to every meeting, and I understand that. But to be throwing around accusations that the town is not transparent, to me just doesn't ring true. Every meeting is publicly posted, and every person has the chance to go to that meeting. I'm also old enough to remember and been a citizen of this town for long enough to remember not the details, but that we did try to improve the town hall and the police station, and it was voted down. I can't remember if it was by ballot initiative or at one of these meetings, but it was voted down. So, you know, we did see this coming. We did see the police station coming and the accessibility issues coming, and then it gets voted down. And so I don't know if I'm for or against this, quite honestly, but I don't know this is going to be the thing that does the trick when people show up to town meeting and go to ballots and vote down things. So I just wanted to clarify a couple of, I think, misconceptions that were out there.
Thank you. Okay, but I have to recognize Tom Irwin first because he asked. Go ahead.
Just a quick comment related to the question about the people on the committee and whether we'd be able to get volunteers. These are all volunteer positions, but the composition of the committee is the town manager. There are 2 members at large, which that would indeed be new volunteers. There are 2 members of the finance committee, so out of 9 people, 2 out of those people would serve on this committee. One person out of the 4 or 5 member planning board would be included, so you'd have actually an integration with the master plan coming down and connecting with a 5-year plan. The town planner would be involved, the principal assessor would be involved, and the town accountant. So staffing this committee is not going to be an issue, and there were no new paid people to make this happen. And this, again, is an exact model of what's worked very effectively in the town of Lee.
Thank you. So there's a motion to move the question that's been seconded, not a debatable motion. All in favor of moving the question signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. Thank you. Article 28, all those in favor of the petition signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. Article passes. Article 20. Article 29, also a citizen petition. As soon as you get a microphone, you can stand right there.
Mr. Moderator, I wish to note that Kira Smith, who is the one that actually advanced the petition, is not able to be here this evening. In her stead, maybe I can make her motion.
What's she doing?
She is going to be making discussion after the motion is made.
Oh.
Unless you wish to make the motion as well.
I thought you were
That's
making
fine.
the motion. I
Very
thought that's
good.
what we were doing.
I yield to the person on the floor.
And who's the person on the floor?
I'm Rachel Branch. I live at 600 Main Street.
Thank
I
you.
am here representing Kira Smith, who could not be here, and I'm here to put forward a citizen petition to see if the town will vote to approve and petition the Massachusetts General Court for an act providing for recall elections in the town of Dalton. And this is a statement from Kira Smith that I am quoting. For people to believe in their government, they must believe that their government
Yeah.
hears them.
Okay, hold on. Your motion is out there, but nobody seconded it
second it.
yet. We can't be discussing it yet. Thank you. It was just seconded.
Right?
Pardon?
You can't read something else that's not here. We were told.
It's a town council, what do we do? It's a citizen's petition. Somebody's making the petition.
Through you, Mr. Moderator, I understand she might be reading someone else's words, but this is the maker of the motion, and she's able to make a presentation on it.
Make them my words then.
Yep,
So I'm okay?
you're okay.
All right, thank you. For people to believe in their government, they must believe that their government hears them, is responsive, and has their best interests at heart. They need and want and deserve to feel they have some control over outcomes that have a significant impact on their lives. The inspiration for this bylaw arose from several Dalton residents coming independently with a range of concerns to the town manager's office looking for recourse. When the town manager informed them that a recall election might be an option, but there was currently no bylaw as part of the town manager's office and in service to those in the community, I created this bylaw to nurture greater confidence in Dalton's system of governance. A recall election bylaw has the potential to offer a solution. A recall election bylaw is rooted in the three key principles of effective town governance: accountability, transparency, and trust. Although providing some sense of balance, a recall election is not a tool that can be implemented without substantial public sentiment and will not disrupt effective governance. There are 140 towns so far in Massachusetts that at some point had similar concerns and, for their solution, chose to pass recall election bylaws. For those concerned, carrying out a recall election is an incredible undertaking. Just to initiate the petition to have a recall election, 50 people have to sign an intent affidavit. After that, the actual petition must obtain support from no less than 50% of the voters who participated in the last annual town election, or 430 people, and must be done within 20 days. If that hurdle is met, then in the actual election, at least 80% of the number of people voting in the last annual town election, or 687 people, must participate in this election. Not an easy obstacle course to traverse, but it is an option other than waiting for the election at the end of someone's three-year term. In summary, this bylaw only serves to strengthen belief in Dalton governance. Hence, I respectfully request the support of the Dalton voters to approve the proposed recall election bylaw. Hopefully, we will never have a need to use it, and I support this wholeheartedly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any discussion?
Tony?
Mr. Bishop?
Yeah, for the record, the select board voted 4-1 not to support this. And I also would like to say, while providing a mechanism for the readiness of agreements with government in a process of removal of elected officials for cause is critically to a healthy democratic republic, I oppose this article as presented. Using a citizen's petition to change the election law is problematic, as thresholds to submit a citizen's petition is only 50 voters, opening the door for special interest and politically motivated articles coming before the whole town. Articles that propose to change bylaws, particularly election law, will generate more consensus and broad support if developed in a more open, transparent way. More appropriately, the select board could form a committee comprised of elected officials and community members to develop the proposed recall language to be voted on by the select board and presented to a future town meeting. As the article written, it sets a low bar to begin the recall process with only 50 signatures, paving the way for a small group of politically motivated people to attempt to recall a board member they simply do not like or disagree with, then attempt to elect their candidate of choice in the same election. Based on the town population, The threshold to begin the process should be higher, maybe 200 to 300 signatures, or 25% of the total number of voters in a previous election, for example. The article is written noticeably omits language that is used in numerous other municipalities or recall bylaws, which helps protect against politically motivated recalls based on how a board member votes on their political opinions. Here are two examples of this language, first from the town of Lanesboro and second from the town of Sharon, both pending in the current legislative session in a mass state legislation. A, in no case shall the exercise of discretion in voting or acting on matters before the office holder constitutes grounds for recall. An elected official opinion or votes on any subject within public body's jurisdiction shall not constitute grounds for recall, such that an elected official may make decisions within their authority without fear of recall, provided that an elected official's vote or actions that are found to be intentional violation as described in 930C MR 1-7 shall be grounds for recall. There's already procedure for initiating a recall in Massachusetts, working through the Secretary of the Commonwealth's office. I fail to see the reason for the town to have its own bylaw at this time, especially one that is flawed as this article. There is a select board election every year for 2 seats and then there's one for 1 year. I encourage more voters to participate in the regular election, exercise their constitutional rights, and use their vote to change the composition of local government bodies through less contentious means. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah, let me just see if somebody else has their hand up over here first. We'll get to you in a minute. Yes.
Yes, Tony Pagliarulo, Old Windsor Road. I hear both individuals, and I see something that I agree with on both. Dalton has a town manager act from 1995. We have a town manager in terms of our form of government. I've proposed that we look at a town charter. A town charter would be our town's constitution. And in fact, the town charter speaks to recall among other items. It delineates powers and authority amongst the select board, the town manager, vacancies, how they're fit, recall as has been described. A town charter is very intensive. It would require our coming together and agreeing to petition the legislature for a town charter. There would be 9 charter commissioners elected at large. It would engage our community in terms of a number of questions and issues. Other towns have done this. Williamstown just went through it. This would be conducted under a consultancy. It would be done out of UMass, the Collins Center. The Collins Center is very specific. They work with organizations around the state, I should say cities and communities. There would be an 18-month time period. It has to be done in 18 months. It would cost $2,000 a session. It's a bi-monthly undertaking. Again, it engages our community, and it would answer a lot of these questions that people are having and bringing forth. I think the Town Managers Act's done us well for the 35 years. I think it's time to move forward. This would be an item that we would bring before the town and vote upon. Thank you.
Thank you. Identify yourself when you speak.
Rachel Branch again.
Thank you.
This is not a frivolous petition with a lot of, from my perspective, this is a way for residents of Dalton or any city or town to have more control over accountability of their elected officials. And obviously it also puts into an elected official's head that this is also a possibility if they are not adhering to the laws and regulations and what they were elected elected to, the offices that they were elected for. And there's certainly, in the statement that I just read, there are quite a few hurdles before you get to be able to do a recall. But I think it's for the people to have more power over their elected officials if they are not performing their duties.
Thank you. Henry Rose.
Henry Rose, North Mountain Road. First, I'd like to say this is not personal. Second, I'd like to say this is not personal. This is like impeachment in the U.S. Constitution. We hope we don't have to use it. We are unlikely to use it, but we should have it. So I'm all for it. I'll be voting yes. In the time I've lived in Dalton, we had one select board member who, if I'm getting it right, missed many, many, many meetings, not a current member of the board. That person perhaps should have been recalled. This looks like a process that's well thought out and is not going to happen frivolously. And I'd also like to ask Bob Bishop a question. You mentioned that there is already a recall provision at the state level going through the Secretary of State's office. How cumbersome is that? That does not sound like an easy process to do. And to Tony, I like you, but going to a charter sounds like an awful lot of work that we're not going to be able to do.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hold on.
I'd like to put forth a motion.
Identify yourself, please.
Mike Van Duzen,
Thank
128 Hell Street Extension. I'd like to put forth a motion to amend this article to increase the initial petition volume to 200 people.
There's a motion on the floor that's been seconded. We're discussing the motion only. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, seeing none. All those in favor of the motion to amend the petition signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no.
No.
Mr. Moderator.
We're going to count.
It's my understanding any amendment must be submitted in writing.
All right, send them down. Come on down. We'll take the time.
Everybody else had to do it.
Yeah, no, I was just.
I didn't even know what he said. What did he say?
From 50 to 200 to trigger the initial.
The people are leaving now.
Oh, yeah. I don't blame him. I would too if I could.
Oh, yeah, right. You're gonna sneak out of here. I know that. I'm going to fall asleep. Like me, 10 o'clock in the morning.
You got a pen? Yep.
Trying to watch TV.
The only thing that's keeping me awake lately at night after 9 is hockey.
Oh, you like hockey?
Oh, yeah.
My wife's family was absolute hockey nuts. And my brother actually smoked relatively played semi-pro. He played, he got a tryout and played a little bit, and that was it. So he's having a career.
Yeah.
They're all his brothers, he had 4 brothers. And they were all in their kids.
Hockey nuts. Yeah. It's usually a bred thing. My wife and I come from hockey country. So I went to bed last night at 11:30. She stayed up to 1:30 back to this morning watching the hockey game. It was on the West Coast. Yeah.
This is the playoffs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's, to me, it's kind of got extended. It used to be a winter.
Yeah, I know.
Hey,
Money. It's all about the money.
absolutely. My kids, my son, got out of the action this year. Colorado, Denver,
Avalanche.
yes, and they won it.
Yeah.
2 years back. I grew up, there was 6 teams, right, in hockey. Boston.
Oh, yeah, you had
Now there's
the,
like
the original 6. So, yeah,
That was like 100.
that was what? Toronto, Montreal, Calgary, Rangers, Boston.
Chicago, blackout. Yeah. Now there's what, 30?
26.
Yeah, because I know if you do too much renovation, then you gotta do the whole thing. You bring one thing up.
I think it is, when they had 16, there was rarely even an emergency. It was an exception.
The U.S. is certainly catching up. We got some regular English-speaking names now.
Oh, yeah, good luck. Exactly. Yeah, tell them. Yep.
Triggered it, and then it took 247. Next step. If you get 200 out of it, you're going to get 200. You know what I mean?
Really just worded it.
Yep. Okay, all right. So do we have our counters here so we can count? All right, so we're going to do that vote again. We do have the written motion, and it is a motion to increase the number from 50 to 200 in order to initiate the recall. So we're going to do it this time, but this time we're going to count because I lost the last bet on whether we won or not. So all those who are in favor of the motion to increase the number of petitioners to 200 to institute a recall signify by holding up your cards. This is only to increase the number to 200. It's not the article itself. You're counting, right? I did. I got my socks on. I can't do that. Yeah.
They're killing you.
Well, I think we're good, but
No, I think you're right. But it's okay.
but it was noisy the other way. This is only on the motion. This isn't on the article.
I have something to say.
When that's done, can I grab that from you, just so I have all of it?
You can, well, yeah, hold on that, but you can have. Yeah, you can have that stuff. Yep. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. So now everyone who is opposed to the motion to increase the number, hold up your cards. Oh, come on, you made more noise before. I could have done that.
You don't even need your socks off.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they did. All right. Yeah, I'm sure you are, yeah.
Maureen, did you get me?
As I thought, the motion passed.
Mr. Moderator, was it a squeaker?
It was close. It was close. Okay, any further discussion on the article as amended? Mr. Bishop?
Yes. With all due respect, Mr. Rose, I do believe this is politically motivated. For the reason is, I compared the signatures when we did a discipline hearing and the people that signed these petitions, there's an awful lot of same signatures. And at that discipline hearing, you people threatened us. You called us names. You told us you were going to vote us out of office. You called us assholes. We had to be walked through a side door with the police to get to our cars for doing our job.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
One more.
I'll get to you first, but I saw him first. Yes, in the back.
Peter Hodges, Central Avenue. To me, this seems like a cut and dry case of like a basic democratic tool. There's like 9 things in the language here to protect the elected official. Like you can't use this process within 6 months of the election in either direction. You need 80% of the people 80% of the people in the count of the vote to overturn this. It can't be used twice in the same term. Like there's a lot of protections in here. This seems like a basic tool. It's not easy to implement. It doesn't seem like you can use it frivolously. I fully support this.
Thank you. Mr. Collins.
I am the selectman that signed this petition and the only selectman that signed this petition. I want everybody to know that. I'd like to apologize for the language Mr. Bishop, our chair, just used. It was uncalled for. And I'd also...
All right.
And
I'd
also like everybody to know that this isn't just directed, this cannot only be used on the select board, this can be used on any elected official in town. This has no direct contact with the select board. It's the entire government process of any elected official in town.
No. 6 months, one way or the other. Any further discussion? Mr. Rose?
Henry Rose, North Mountain Road. I can't be responsible for what everybody might have said, but I am sorry that people might have called you bad names or threatened you. I signed that petition, but that was never my intent for anybody to say bad names about you.
Thank you.
Tony, say one last thing?
One last thing, and then let's move the question.
I totally support what Mr. Bishop has said. This did happen, and it may or may not be politically motivated. It doesn't matter. What matters is this is totally unnecessary because you already have in place the best recall system in the world. It's called an election, and it's Monday, so get out and vote. Thank you.
Okay. Article 29, moved and seconded and amended. Simple majority. All those in favor signify by holding up your cards saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. Passes. Article 30, also a citizen's petition. Who's going to present that? Yep. Wait for a microphone and identify yourself. Thanks, Greg.
Greg Schnapp, South Street, Dalton. This petition is to rescind the stretch code bylaw 285 in its entirety.
Thank you. Okay, the article's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Greg, would you like to tell us about it?
Yes. As a lifelong resident of Dalton and a building contractor for over 30 years of experience constructing energy-efficient, Energy Star certified homes, I strongly support proactive climate change, preparedness, and building codes that promote energy conservation. However, I have significant concerns about the practicality of implementing the stretch code in Massachusetts. While the initiative to enhance energy efficiency and cut greenhouse gas emissions is admirable, the current code introduces significant obstacles that may limit its effectiveness and accessibility. In February, following an input from the home builders and remodelers of Massachusetts, the latest update brought improvements for remodeling and ADUs. However, the requirements for new home construction remain largely unchanged, continuing to impose stricter regulations that affect new homes. The cost of building a basic stretch code compliant home is approximately 10 to 15% higher, making it financially prohibitive for many individuals and families, particularly in communities already struggling with affordable housing shortages. This financial burden risks limiting widespread adoption and exacerbating house affordability challenges. Additionally, while grant funding may help offset costs, it's essential to evaluate whether the funding adequately compensates for the increased expenses of compliance. Would these grants outweigh the economic benefits of investing in new affordable homes and additions? Furthermore, the stretch code emphasizes the electrification of renewable energy does not sufficiently address the diverse needs of Massachusetts residents. For instance, reliance on electric heating systems that may be impractical or cost prohibitive in areas with harsh winters and inconsistent energy infrastructure. Massachusetts depends on electricity from neighboring states like Canada, rising concerns about reliability. Thank you.
Thank you. Right here, that's fine. Then go up in the back.
Carolyn Valley, Raymond Drive. Well, I understand Mr. Schnapp's concerns as a builder myself, through Habitat for Humanity. I think that the problem that we're really looking at here is the fact that the state's energy code supersedes the Dalton stretch code, which is in effect now. So even if we rescind this, it's like a no-win vote because the state supersedes us. So what is the point?
Thank you. Up in the back.
Hi, Michelle Morantz, Red Barn Road. I'd like some background information that might help us make a decision tonight regarding this article. My understanding is that the select board did vote on this, take a vote on this, and I'd be very interested in learning what the vote was as an entity for the select board and also as individuals. How did this issue play out as far as our town leadership goes?
The select board voted 4-1 in favor of it.
No, to oppose it.
I'm sorry, to oppose it.
4-1 to oppose.
Select board voted to oppose the change, the article.
Yes, and so what that means is they want, by a 4-1 vote, the select board decided that they wanted to retain the stretch code.
Correct.
Okay, and as the individual vote, I think it's important for us to know.
At the select board meeting, I was the no vote. I was a no vote for a number of issues. Since my concerns, since the no vote, my concerns have been addressed by a number of people in the town. They've given me the 3 major concerns that I had have been brought back to me from the state level. There was some changes in February that for reasons that I was voting for and I've been proved wrong, I'll be voting no on this tonight.
Thank you. up in the back, and then Cheryl Rose.
Why the stretch code matters to Dalton? The keeping the stretch code is required for Dalton to stay a certified green community. It was one of the 5 requirements that we had to meet when we reached green community status. Having green community status gives the town access to $200,000, to up to $200,000 a year to decarbonize and increase energy efficiency in municipal buildings. That's $200,000. Over the next 3 years, that's $400,000 to $600,000 to apply to the $800,000 town hall renovation that's being proposed. The implications is that the building codes would be pushed back to what they were in 2015. That is not true at all. The stretch code and the standard building code have increased consistently over those 3 years together. So if we reduce the stretch, if we abandon the stretch code, we still have to maintain 90% of the stretch code, which is what the base building code is. So that it's only a 10% differential. So, and as these codes continue to get more and more strict, the DOER tells us that the stretch code the current base code will be equivalent to the current stretch code in 2 to 3 years. During those 2 to 3 years, we will lose the $400,000 to $600,000 in town grants to be available for municipal building renovations.
Thank you. Cheryl Rose.
Yeah, I was on the Green Committee in 2014, if everybody just didn't get that Dalton is a green community in Massachusetts, and that means we have the opportunity to apply for state money each year to do carbon emission reducing things like renovate our town hall and put insulation. We also did our street light project. So Richard could speak a lot to all of this because we were working hard then and saving our town money on the fuel. So if we undid, this was one of the criteria. We had to adopt the stretch code. We had several criteria to become a green community, to be certified by the state, to be available, to be able to apply for those grants. And one of them was to adopt the stretch code.
Thank you. In the back.
Stephen Morantz, Red Barn Road. I'm on the Green Dome Committee. We just finished the Climate Action Plan, which was voted $60,000. This town meeting 2 years ago voted to have this Climate Action Plan done. We just finished it. We had a lovely town event on April 12th. It was presented to the Select Board. And if we adopt this motion, we were telling the state we're going backwards. And not only will we lose all green community money, but I suspect the state's going to say, well, I don't think we want to give grants to this community that decided we're going to go backwards in time. So we don't want to waste the money we already spent on this climate action plan, which hopefully will put into effect and really help the community. So I think we should continue to go forward, not backwards.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you. Who's waiting? Go ahead.
Lori Martinelli, East Housatonic Street. I also am on the Dalton Green Committee, and I just want to add to what Steve said. The Climate Action Plan that we just completed included a greenhouse gas inventory, and the largest source of greenhouse gases in our community, in every community, are buildings. That's homes, municipal buildings, and office buildings. And so to go back, to rescind our stretch code is a giant step backwards for Dalton, and I can't speak strongly enough. We need to be moving forward. We need a resilient community for our children and grandchildren. Vote no on number 30. Thank you.
Thank you. Maureen. Oops.
Maureen Mitchell. I'm an elder. I have an elderly house, and I view this as a tariff on people who have older homes that would need to match this new code. I can see it in brand new construction, but I'm concerned about renovations.
Thank you. Over here.
Tony Pagliarulo, Old Windsor Road. I too am on the Green Committee, and just as a background, 90% of the communities in our Commonwealth have adopted the stretch code. There's the basic code, stretch code, and the specialized code, which is even more demanding. We had a lengthy discussion about a year ago regarding the specialized code and would we want to promote that, and we too felt it was beyond, it would be too onerous in terms of homeowners. And I think Maureen's point is well made in terms of additions and ADUs, as Mr. Schnapp has made. However, it's a 1,000 square foot mark where this would come into play. And in fact, the Commonwealth has reduced what's termed Home Energy Rating System, HERS ratings. So I think they've been sensitive to the homeowners and to the builders that in February of this year, they upped the HERS rating, which means it would be less energy efficient. But again, as the comments that have been made already, this is money that Dalton would leave on the table. It's a financially terrible decision to make in terms of our community, especially in light if we're looking at renovations to the town hall, up to $200,000 a year, as David has mentioned. So we certainly don't want to go backwards. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Just to clarify, the expenses that Mr. Schnapp has itemized out or referenced are compensated for by mass save rebates from the state. That if you go fully electric or if you use heat pumps, you are eligible for rebates. Does his organization flow the rebates back to those same clients that complain about the costs, the increased costs? And another comment to the woman who lives in the old house and is worried about insulating and such. If you contact CET, they will do an energy audit for your house. They offer you all kinds of free stuff in order to help tighten up your house. Excuse me? Okay, that's another issue.
Okay, you all done? Up in the back. Way up.
Hi, Wendy Brown, 20 East Street. I just thought I'd give a little more background. I was on the Green Committee for 8 years. I'm an architect. Use the stretch code at any time I need to, and all the other building codes. I looked into this, obviously, so I could weigh in and help other people understand it. The new stretch code, actually, the roof insulation requirements actually go back to R49 instead of what the International Energy Conservation Code is actually R60 right now for base code. There's also no solar heat gain coefficient requirement anymore for Zone 5. A very large construction company, Consigli, did a stretch code study for multifamily homes, and they found that it was about 3% more for most options. Only passive house went above 4% increase in cost. This is obviously just for Dalton. I mean, I don't know how much new building, it's mostly for new building also. There's not anywhere near the same requirements for existing homes or small additions. And there was a presentation by the National Association, the chief economist for the National Association for Home Builders, that said the shelter cost inflation since June 2022 has been 8%. It's been a little bit lowered. Then also interest rates have more than doubled in the last few years. Building costs and materials have gone up from 18 to 59%. The stretch code isn't the only reason why homes are more expensive. And this would really only apply to people building in Dalton. most of the rest of the state still has the stretch code. I think that's about it. Oh, the new stretch code has an embodied carbon credit. The state recognizes that we really know how to make homes efficient. We're all set with that. We know how to do it. The next level is embodied carbon. So they have a credit where you can get 3 more HERS points available to you if you use earth-friendly materials. So.
Thank you. There's a motion to move the question. It's been seconded, not a debatable motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. Okay, Article 30, moved and seconded, an article to rescind the stretch code in the town of Dalton. A yes vote is a vote to rescind. All those in favor of the article signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed by saying no. The article's defeated. Thank you very much. Mr. Droshine.
I move that the town recess until Monday, May 12th, 2025 at 11 o'clock a.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. to meet in the at the Dalton Senior Center, 40 Field Street Extension in Dalton, Massachusetts, to choose and elect the town officers as printed in the warrant and determine such other matters are by law required to be determined by ballot.
Thank you. Motion to recess is not debatable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. No, somebody said no. Somebody up there yelled no.